Peace. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Outlaw Hip Hop Podcast, Outlaw Hip Hop TV. I'm your host, Outlaw J. And we back in the building for another great episode. Peace to the world, peace to the ancestors, peace to the gods, peace to the Most High, peace to my parents, my kids, my loved ones, peace to all my loved ones out there. I appreciate everybody sticking around. I appreciate everybody showing me the love and support. As always, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get this thing moving. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep this thing moving forward, though. You know, we're going to keep doing what we're doing regardless of whatever anybody's opinion, what anybody got to say. I don't really care right now. But we about to deep dive into some things that has been bothering me lately. Things that we see going on an everyday basis, the things that we hear from the populace. Just a bunch of bullshit as usual. You understand what I'm saying? So let's do what we got to do. You understand?
Welcome to Outlaw Hip Hop.
So back in 2019, there was a home invasion at Bun B's house. If you guys don't know who Bun B is, he's one part of UGK, Bun B Pimp C. If you guys don't know who that is, Google him. Great artist. House was invaded, broken into. Young man points a gun at his wife, puts a gun to her head. He gets into a shootout with Bun B, ends up getting shot, getting caught, you feel me? And he was just recently sentenced to 40 years in prison. So let's hit the clip right now, and then we're going to deep dive into the bullshit, all right?
New at 4 o'clock, the man who broke into rapper Bun B's home is now facing 40 years in prison. The sentencing came down within the last 2 hours.
This after emotional testimony from Bun B and his wife, who were held at gunpoint during the 2019 home invasion. Sherman and Chow joining us live downtown. Sherman, as they mentioned, an emotional day in court.
Yeah, absolutely. 25-year-old DeMonte Jackson.
25 years old.
To 40 years in prison. He'll be eligible for parole.
Life done.
20 years. And this entire punishment phase trial was very emotional, as was this decision. Now, take a look at the video from court earlier. The last witnesses, including Jackson's grandmother, took the stand today. Jackson's family testifying that he has mental health issues, used drugs, and has an IQ of 81. His father said he failed to properly discipline his son, who'd been a standout high school football player. The prosecution argued Jackson, who yesterday stopped proceedings with an outburst in court, has a history of ongoing criminal activity. The prosecution was satisfied today. Jackson's father was not.
This defendant has had all the love and support that a family could provide for him. And despite that, he's continued to make very poor and dangerous choices.
I want to apologize on behalf of my son to the Freeman family for the pain that you did endure. However, I believe that just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you should give somebody a life sentence.
Prosecutors denied Bun B, whose real name is Bernard Freeman, that his celebrity made any difference. Freeman and his wife of 20 years both testified that Jackson put a gun to Mrs. Freeman's head to rob the couple. Freeman described getting his own weapon, racing to the garage, and opening fire on Jackson, who was already behind the wheel of a car. He was trying to steal it. Jackson was wounded in that shootout. I did reach out to Bun B after that verdict, but he declined any comment. We're live here in downtown. Sherman and Chow, KHOU, 11 News.
All right. So first off, let's point this out. This has nothing to do with Bun B being a celebrity. This type of shit happens every day. Some knucklehead decides to be a knucklehead. Wants to be a crash out dummy. So this type of shit happens every day. This has nothing to do with that. The reason why he got sentenced 40 years was because of the action of the crime and not because of who the crime was committed to. This has nothing to do with that. This is another dumbass motherfucker out here who decides he wants to take the street role and uphold the street life and go out here and rob somebody. And he got his ass caught. This is the reaction of your action, my boy. Y'all out here calling Bun B a snitch. Why? He defended his family. He shot some damn body. Dude had a gun to his wife's head, and he did what the hell he was supposed to do. Y'all got a problem with people still trying to uphold these stupid ass street laws and these street rules that don't give a shit about nobody. Bun B is not in the damn streets no more. This was at his home. At his home. And you know, in Texas, they don't give a fuck. They got guns, nigga. They don't give a damn. They'll shoot your ass. But my issue is we keep trying to do the same shit, expecting a different result. We all insane like a motherfucker. These streets don't give a damn about nobody. Let's be clear. Let's be very clear. That's y'all problem. Y'all keep trying to talk about loyal to these streets, and these streets ain't loyal to nobody but its damn self. Let's be real. Keep taking your asses out there and figuring out what's going to happen to your ass. Y'all don't want to listen to no goddamn body. Y'all want to keep running y'all asses to these streets, commit some goddamn crimes, then talk about, I ain't snitching, I ain't doing this, I ain't doing. Okay, well, you take your ass to jail for 40 years then. You sit your ass down and deal with all of the prison politics and some deputy and sheriff's deputy talking about you got to go to bed and wake up at this time, you can eat at this time. You take your ass up in there and figure that shit out then. Still trying to uphold these street laws. Still trying to crash out. We have a crash out culture. Then we take it to these kids. Like these kids are supposed to be up here, out here trying to uphold street laws and street bullshit. Instead of teaching these kids better. We are twisted and fucked up in our goddamn community. And that's why we're here. We're here to shed a light on the bullshit that we keep trying to make cool every goddamn day. You understand? 40 years. This is what the youth should pay attention to. You keep listening to these little dumbass rappers, these little dumbass dudes in the hood, these motherfuckers that sit on the block all goddamn day, that smoke weed, sit in the park all day, thinking that this bullshit is cool, and you take your ass to goddamn jail for 40 years and see what the fuck that shit be like. Still trying to listen to these dumb motherfuckers. No, I'm not playing tonight. I'm not about to watch my language tonight. No. Because it's the shit we talking about. Artists make music according to the labels. So we're gonna circle back and we're gonna figure out what's going on. Shout out to Bun B. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Pimp C. But this the shit we talking about right here. And I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, no. He did what he was supposed to do. He went up there and he defended his goddamn wife. And when it came time to trial, he showed the fuck up. Snitching is when you commit a motherfucking crime with some damn body. You get your bitch ass caught with whoever you with. And you decide to go run your goddamn mouth about what happened and who was all involved. We know what the fuck snitching is. Stop trying to say every goddamn thing is snitching. Everything ain't motherfucking snitching. Just because your bitch ass don't agree with it. Let's keep it a buck. Trying to fit your little punk ass narrative so you could try to sound cool. This ain't fucking snitching. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all motherfuckers need to stop running y'all motherfucking mouths about shit that y'all don't know nothing about. Half these motherfuckers ain't even from the streets. Half these motherfuckers grew up in the goddamn suburbs and decide that they want to be hood. I don't know why any of y'all motherfuckers would try to want to choose this goddamn life. This life don't love no goddamn body. Trust me. This life don't love nobody. The streets don't love nobody. You talking to somebody who you hearing somebody right now who's lived and learned. I'm talking from experience right now. I ain't just running my motherfucking mouth. Snakes and lions in this motherfucker. Let's keep it a buck. Let's move to the next damn topic because this shit been getting on my nerves. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all be getting on my goddamn nerves. Y'all be getting, and the reason why y'all be getting on my goddamn nerves is because it seems like, and we're gonna get into it. It seems like the most negative thing and the most dumbest thing possible, or that you could think of when it comes to anybody's situation, y'all want motherfuckers to take the most negative route. That shit don't make no sense to me. When do we elevate and grow up and become better? We're gonna get into that later. Let's get to the next topic because y'all pissing me off with this one, man, for real. Boy.
Welcome to Outlaw Hip Hop.
So I ran into this video by Ice Cube. And I'm gonna hit the clip first, and then we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it some more, all right?
Let's take rap music.
Let's take it.
Same people who own the labels own the prisons.
Literally the same people?
Great
Literally
segue.
the same people who own the labels own private prisons. It seems really kind of suspicious, if you want to say that word, that the records that come out are really geared to push people towards that prison industry.
But they didn't make you write those lyrics.
It's not about making somebody write the lyrics. It's about being there as guardrails to make sure certain songs make it through and certain songs don't. Certain flavors are exposed on the record. You know, some records are made by committee. Meaning record company guys sit around and tell the artists, this is hot, say that, do this. We're gonna have this guy write the lyrics. We're gonna have that. So the narrative is structured and really made into what the record company want the record to be, and what a lot of artists are frustrated with this kind of music making. A lot of people, feel like they're being controlled by the label. This is how they do it. Telling you what songs to sing, what hooks to do. You can do your song, that's fine. That's an album cut. But the single is what we all say is the single. So you have, the record company pushing the narrative. This to me is somewhat some social engineering going on here to make sure those prisons stay full.
All right. Shout out to the big homie Professor Griff. Shout out to Ice Cube. That was Ice Cube right there. If y'all don't know, I'm sure y'all should know by now. Shout out to Professor Griff. Professor Griff has a quote, and I want to say I used it before, but it's completely true. They take the highest essence of our culture. Excuse me. They take the lowest essence of our culture and give it maximum exposure. I'm gonna start off with that. They take the lowest essence of our culture and give it maximum exposure. So this is why you have your murder music, drill music. This is why you have your sex music highlighted at the top. Y'all should know this shit by now. If you don't, I don't know where the hell you've been under a rock or something. And it's completely true. How the hell did hip hop go from empowering ourselves to the most negative bullshit that we hear right now? And then what's fucked up is our kids get entrenched in all of this bullshit. They think it's all about murder music and sex music and drug music. When, listen, oh my God, I'm so frustrated with this shit right now. Is art imitating life or life imitating art? How do we go from leaders of the new school, MC Light, Queen Latifah, to I was getting some head so quickly? So I'm gonna read this letter real quick for those that have been under a rock and don't know what I'm talking about. I mean, we came to substantiate some shit tonight. All right. This is on hiphopisread.com. This is a lengthy read, so give me a minute. But I'm finna read this whole damn letter. The secret meeting that changed rap music and destroyed a generation of hip hop. And before I do that, this is the Outlaw Hip Hop podcast. So I'm very, 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 very consciously aware of what the hell I'm doing. I'm strategically moving, and I'm strategically plotting and planning all of this shit out. I don't talk about as much as I want to talk about because I don't think y'all motherfuckers is ready. But I don't give a damn no more. So let's read this letter real quick and then we're about to dive in. This anonymous letter landed in my inbox. Hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making this story public as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and all those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the most established companies in the music industry. I came from Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, so technology and media weren't accessible to people like they are today. The industry had more control over the public and had the means to influence them any way it wanted. This may explain why in early 91, I was invited to attend a closed door meeting with a small group of businessmen, with a small group of music business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Little did I know that we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices I've ever seen. The meeting was at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people being there, most of them familiar faces. Speaking to those I knew, we joked about the thing of the meeting as many, we joked about the thing of the meeting as many of us did not care for rap music and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private gathering to discuss its future. Because at that time, shit, a lot of motherfuckers didn't even know this shit was going to be around. So, but this was 91, so no, hip hop had been around for a while back then. So let me keep reading. Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on the behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be in the industry. And I want to pause there and say, I'm gonna get into it, but a lot of these faces that he's talking about, it be the motherfuckers that graduated from school, you know what I'm saying, grew up in the suburbs, see a money grab in hip hop and know nothing about the streets or the culture or nothing about hip hop, don't know shit about it. Don't know a goddamn thing about hip hop. Let me keep reading. I'm hold on, Outlaw. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during this meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on the matter and consequences which stated that violating the terms which would result in job termination. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but couldn't find anyone who had answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. No one stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me. A man who was a part of an unfamiliar group collected those agreements from us. Quickly after the meeting began, one of my industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everyone else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no further details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but it was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the successes we have had achieved in our industry and congratulated us for being selected as part of a small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable at the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very small profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in confusion. At the time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these private prisons were and what any of this had to do with us. We were told, hold on, let me highlight this. We were told that the prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from government based on the numbers of inmates. Who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more money the government would pay the prisons. It was also made clear to us, since these prisons are privately owned and they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back. Woo. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague, who had first opened the meeting, took the floor again and answered our questions. He told us, since our employers had become silent investors in in the prison business. Hold on, man. Because when you read shit like this, man, listen, we've been telling y'all about this shit for years. We've been telling people, you know what I'm saying, all y'all motherfuckers out here that be like, oh, that's just conspiracy, blah, 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 blah. Yo, the Diddy thing, all this shit right now is coming to light because only the truth is gonna last. Only the truth. All that other bullshit y'all be talking about, that shit ain't gonna last, bro. All the other shit y'all be trying to make seem like it's cool, it's not gonna stick around. It's just a fad. It's here for a minute and it's gone. But the truth is gonna stick around forever. You understand? He told us, since our employers had become silent investors in the prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remained filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by marketing music which promotes criminal behavior, rap being the most of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming increasingly profitable, becoming an increasingly profitable market for other companies. And as employees, we'd also be able to buy personal stock in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop. I remember looking around to make sure I wasn't dreaming and saw half the people with dropped jaws. my days was interrupted when someone shouted, "Is this a fucking joke?" Obviously, that's bleeped out. Obviously, I know what it says. At this point, things became chaotic. Two of the men who were part of an unfamiliar group grabbed the man who shouted out an attempt to remove him from the house. A few of us, myself included, tried to intervene. One of them pulled out a gun and we all backed off. Hold on, let me scroll up. They separated us from the crowd and all four of us were escorted outside. My industry colleague who had opened the meeting earlier hurried out to meet us, and reminded us that we had signed an agreement and would suffer the consequences of speaking out about this publicly or even with those who attended the meeting. I asked him why he was involved with something this corrupt, and he replied that it was bigger than music. It was bigger than the music business, and nothing we'd want to challenge without risking consequences. Excuse me, I'm trying to. This thing is. It's like small print. I should have blew it up. Let me blow it up real quick. Where am I at? Oh, let me finish this. We all protested as he walked back into the house. I remember word for word the last thing he said. "It's out of my hands now. Remember, you signed an agreement." He then closed the door behind him. The men rushed us to our cars and actually watched until we drove away. Okay, we're halfway through this thing. Hold on, let me make sure. Okay, there we go. I'm just trying to make it bigger, so I'm blind. I need my damn glasses. A million things were going through my mind as I drove away. I eventually decided to pull over and parked on the side of the street in order to collect my thoughts. I replayed everything in my mind repeatedly, and it all seemed very surreal to me. I was angry with myself for not having taken a more active role in my questioning what had been presented to us. I like to believe the shock of all is what suspended my better nature. After what seemed like an eternity, I was able to calm myself enough to make it home. I didn't talk to anyone that night. The next day back at the office, I was visibly out of it and blamed it all on the weather, on being under the weather. No one else in my department had been invited to the meeting, and I felt a sense of guilt for not being able to share what I had witnessed. I thought about contacting the three others who were kicked out of the house, but I didn't remember their names and thought that tracking them down would probably bring unwanted attention. I considered speaking out publicly at the risk of losing my job, but I realized I'd probably be jeopardizing more than my job. I wasn't willing to risk anything happening to my family. I can understand that. I thought about those men with guns and wondered who they were. I had been told that this was bigger than the music business, and all I could do was let my imagination run free. There were no answers and no one to talk to. I tried a little bit of research on private prisons, but didn't uncover anything about the music business involvement. However, the information I did find confirmed how dangerous the prison business really was. Days turned into weeks and weeks turned into months. Eventually, It was as if the meeting had never taken place. Okay. It all seemed surreal. I became more reclusive and stopped going to any industry events unless professionally obligated to do so. On 2 occasions, I found myself attending the same functions as my former colleague. Both times, our eyes met, but nothing was more exchanged. I'm almost done with this. As the months passed, rap music had definitely changed direction. I was never a fan of it, but I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting I had, but I had what? Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I suspect that the idea presented that day had been successfully implemented. It was if it was as if the order has been given to all major label executives. The music was climbing the charts, and most companies were more than happy to most the companies were more than happy to capitalize on it. Each one was churning out their very own gangster rap acts on an assembly line. Everyone brought into it, consumers included, violence and drugs. Violence and drug use became essential theme in the most of rap. I spoke to a few of my peers in the industry to get their opinions on the new trend, but was told repeatedly that it was all about supply and demand. Sadly, many of them even expressed that the music reinforced their prejudice of minorities. Right. This is the last uh, paragraph right here. I officially quit the music business in 93, but my heart had already left months before. I broke ties with the majority of my peers and removed myself from this thing I had once loved. I took some time off, returned to Europe for a few years, settled out of the state, and I lived a quiet life away from the world of entertainment. As the years passed, I managed to keep my secret, fearful of sharing it would go fearful of sharing it with the wrong person, but also a little ashamed of not having the balls to blow the whistle. But as rap got worse, my guilt grew. Fortunately, in the late 90s, having the internet as a resource which wasn't at my disposal in the early days made it easier for me to investigate what is now labeled the prison industrial complex. Now that I have a greater understanding of how private prisons operate, things make much more sense than they ever have. I see how the criminalization of rap music played a big part in the promoting racial stereotypes and misguided so many impressionable young minds into adopting these glorified criminal behaviors, which often leads to incarceration. 20 years of guilt is a heavy load to carry, but the least I can do now is share my story, hoping that fans of rap music realize how they've been used for the past 2 decades. Although I plan on remaining anonymous for obvious reasons, my goal now is to get the information out to as many people as possible. Please help me spread the word. Hopefully, others who attend this meeting back in 91 will be inspired by and tell their own stories. Most importantly, if only one life has been touched by my story, I pray it makes the weight of my guilt a little bit more tolerable. I know that was a long read, but I had to go through it because it's just going to outline the rest of what I got going here. So, with the things like the Bun B thing happening, right? We know who Bun B is, but we know a lot of us know what he talks about in his music, right? A lot of it is the same shit that I'm talking about, right? But now he's an older man, people grow up and they grow wiser. From your younger days, you don't do the same shit you do in your older days. But record companies have interest in prisons, so they keep the music at a low vibration, i.e., sex, money, drugs, murder, to keep your ass committing crimes. And it's just that goddamn simple. Everybody been played. Yeah, you got played. Bamboozled, hoodwinked. They hit you with the motherfucking okie doke. They threw rocks and hit their fucking hand. But at this point, why don't we see this shit? And then what tears me up is that the youth see this shit and they think it's cool. We went from conscious music talking about how black and beautiful you were to my booty hole brown. Really? That shit is disgusting. I would love to do an episode on the state of hip hop right now, on the state of women in hip hop. Why do you have to over sexualize your goddamn self just to get a point across? We get it. You can spit. You got bars. What the heck? What's that got to do with your ass crack? When do we grow up? When do we let hip hop grow up and become grown? We ain't talking about shitty ass rap music for you niggas is in the back asking fucking dumb ass questions. We talking about hip hop, not rap music, hip hop. High infinite power healing our people. That's what we talking about. So they took out the conscious MC. They brought in the gangster rapper. They got all you niggas out here committing crimes. Everybody on every block and every hood around the whole goddamn country. Everybody got guns. Everybody got drugs. Everybody's a pimp now. Everybody's got prostitutes on the blade. And this is where we are. Look at the result of what we got. Let's not even mention the motherfuckers that actually had a little bit of power in the industry, and they took their power and they used that and they exploited motherfuckers. They used that shit to get sex from motherfuckers, exploit them. Oh, I'm gonna give you this deal, I'm gonna get you that, we're gonna get you this, blah, 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 and never did shit. But got a piece of ass, really? As I stated in the last goddamn episode, with great power comes great responsibility. And we out here looking non-responsible as usual like a motherfucker. We glorify this shit in the streets though, but we all know the outcome of our stupid ass actions. It's either death or jail. Oh, maybe this is why a platform like mine don't get the fucking exposure that it does because, or that it should, because I'm out here telling y'all motherfuckers the truth. I'm not out here fucking glorifying this bullshit. This shit silly than a motherfucker. We look real fucking stupid out here as usual. For us that are out here that are fighting for us and trying to get justice and showing motherfuckers that we just not dumb, ignorant niggas out here. What the hell are we doing it for? What are we doing it for? We out here looking fucking childish as usual. Immature as usual. Yes, I'm very serious about this shit. You should too. I mean, did you hear what the hell he was saying in this goddamn on letter? I was never a fan of it, but I could tell the difference. Rap acts that talked about politics or harmless fun were quickly fading away as gangster rap started dominating the airwaves. Only a few months had passed since the meeting, but I had suspected that the ideas presented that day had been successfully implemented. Like, this is fucking crazy. And it be your own that sell your motherfucking ass out. It be your goddamn own. The people that you think have the best interests of you and your future and your family and all that good stuff. Sell your motherfucking ass out. We keep voting Democrat like some fucking idiots. I'm not saying vote Republican either when I say that. I'm saying they two wings of the same goddamn bird. Y'all keep voting for these same motherfuckers that keep promising y'all a bunch of bullshit. They don't never do a goddamn thing for goddamn black folks. They give everybody else everything that we gonna do this for y'all. They give that shit to everybody else. Why do the Asians have a hate crime bill, but not black folks who've been getting killed in this motherfucking goddamn country since the goddamn time we've been in this bitch? Since the time we've been in this bitch. When do we stand the fuck up and start fighting for things that we need to really be fighting for instead of this negative bullshit? The same bratchet ass, trash ass bullshit that got us in this goddamn condition in the first place. When do we do that? When do we start being fucking followers and start deciding to be leaders and stand up on business? When do we do that? Because I'm lost and confused like a motherfucker. But anyway, let's stop playing. When do we grow up as a people? When do we stop glorifying negative bullshit? When do we start to understand that our babies are watching our every goddamn move? Hearing every piece of poison that we put into our ears. Spitting that shit back out. I don't know. I guess it's up to y'all, man. I guess I'll just be running my goddamn mouth for no reason because all these bullshit ass platforms. Y'all want to hear drama and bullshit. Y'all don't want to hear this real shit. Y'all want to sit around and hear a bunch of drama and bullshit and nothing that can fucking change our goddamn conditions that we in. Trash ass conditions. Couple motherfuckers got a couple dollars, but they can't wait to see a motherfucker crash out so a motherfucker can have nothing so you can say, I told you so, he was a piece of shit. That's what it seems like we do in our culture. When the hell do we grow up? I got one more story for y'all, then I'm out of here, man.
Welcome to Outlaw Hip Hop.
Woman says her husband wants to take her biological child on a trip for graduating, but not his stepchild. This lady's name is Toya T. I just seen the Queen hit me with the story actually last night. My husband wants to take his biological child on a trip for graduating grade 8, but not his stepchild, who is also graduating in grade 8. I'm upset, and he doesn't see why. How do I make him understand? First of all, for any man out here, and I know it's a lot of cats out here talking about people shouldn't mess with women with children and all of this and become a step parent and all that. First of all, shut the fuck up. Shut up. Let people live their damn lives. Let people live their motherfucking lives. It don't matter who love who, as long as somebody's loving somebody and taking care of these goddamn kids. As I always state, what happened to our village? We become so individualistic mind stated that we don't give a fuck about nobody else. And I hear dumbass people in they comments talking shit. Oh, she's just a bitter baby mama. That's that man's wife. Shut up. If you don't know what the fuck you talking about, shut up. Stop running your goddamn mouth to look cool to everybody else. Or to get a like or a heart or whatever the fuck y'all motherfuckers be out here doing. This shit is annoying. These goddamn children need somebody around that give a shit about them. Not no bullshit ass system that's gonna age they out and leave their ass homeless. Not a bunch of motherfuckers who just want them to be foster kids so they can clean their homes. Or so they can get a state fucking check. These children need guidance. Stop bullshitting. Let people love who the fuck they want to love. Let people marry who the hell they want to marry. Let motherfuckers take care of whoever the hell they want to take care of. Because somebody got to goddamn do it. I get tired of hearing this motherfucking narrative. You can't help who you fall in love with. I mean, you can, but people can't help their goddamn situations and circumstances. People can't. Y'all get on here, y'all got an opinion about everything that everybody's fucking doing but your goddamn own self. No motherfucking accountability for your own damn shit. But got a quick ass opinion for somebody else and what the fuck they doing in their goddamn life. Shut up. You sound ignorant as hell. You sound stupid. Mama used to say this shit back, and if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. Silence is golden. Rubbing y'all goddamn noses in everybody's fucking business. This man knew what the hell he was doing when he married that woman with a child. If this was the opposite way, would it be okay for her to take her child out and not yours too? It would be a fucking problem then, right? See, y'all don't lose your mind and start looking at things in the wide perspective that you should be. You look at that shit one-sided. You don't look at both sides of the coin, and then you got a fucking opinion on one side. This is why I don't get in people's business no more. I'm just making a goddamn opinion based off of a one-sided opinion or a one-sided story. And you don't never get the full grasp of the goddamn story, and you about to go crash out behind some bullshit. When the fuck do we grow up? This man knew what the fuck he was doing when he married a woman with a child. You treat that child no goddamn differently. You treat that child as your motherfucking own. Step up and step up fully. Don't step up half-assed. You can't do half-assed the fucking work. Stop playing. So, I'm not even. I was about to go in, but I do want to make this point. It seems in our culture, we love to see people do the ugliest and most negative thing. If you read the comments, and it's just so nasty out here, y'all. Some of y'all motherfuckers, not all y'all, I'm not generalizing, I'm just saying. Some of y'all is real fucking nasty. Mentally. Some of y'all mentals is so fucked up and diluted with bullshit. Y'all get y'all asses on these social media platforms. You hear a couple motherfuckers say something, and then you run with that shit. Instead of saying, yo, does this shit really make sense to me in my damn brain? Is this the right thing to do? That's not the right thing to do. My mother used to tell me that shit. If you get a woman with children, you're going to have to accept those babies as your goddamn own. My mother used to tell me that shit when I was young. Say what the fuck you want about me. I don't really give a shit. I didn't make it to damn near 40 on y'all goddamn opinions. I don't care. I'm here for all the shit. I'm here for all the smoke. But some of y'all be running y'all damn mouths. But when it's yours being treated like shit, you want somebody else to do the opposite. And on that note, I'm going to end it here, all right? Peace to everybody, man. I know I got, listen, I'm very passionate about what I feel. I'm very passionate about music. I'm very passionate about the black man and black woman. Brown man and brown woman. Hell, I'm even very passionate about our white brothers and sisters. But I want motherfuckers to stop. I want people to start understanding that I live in reality. I don't live anywhere else. I don't live in this old fucked up ass made up fantasy land like shit don't happen. I'm very passionate about people. I'm very passionate about my people first though. Because none of y'all motherfuckers be passionate about us when it's time. Everybody want to be a hip hop head. Everybody want to be a nigga until it's time to be a nigga. That's my issue. I'm going to stop holding my fucking tongue. I'm going to keep it a buck. Everybody want to be a nigga till it's time to be a motherfucking nigga. Excuse me. Everybody wants to be black till it's time to be black. You understand? Everybody wants to listen to hip hop and groove and gig and have fun and all this cute shit. But when it's time to motherfucking put these boots on the ground, don't nobody want to be a part of our fight no more. If you do some motherfucking history, your ass gonna learn exactly who you are. So if you don't want to be part of this shit, step the fuck away and let us do what we gotta do. Sit your ass on the sideline and shut up. Let us do the motherfucking work that needs to be done and sit your ass on the sideline and drink you a cup of water and shut the hell up. If you don't want to be a part of the black culture, stop acting like it. If you don't want to be down with the fight that we have upon us and always have had upon us, sit your ass down and shut up. Let us do what the fuck we got to do, man. I'm serious about my people. I'm serious about this hip hop shit. And I'm serious about the Most High. It's Outlaw J, Outlaw Hip Hop Podcast, Outlaw Hip Hop TV. Hit me up, man. Y'all know what time it is. I'm out, man. Peace.